funny that it's Essendon player testing positive or something, isn't it?
Pull your finger out of your ass.
Jeez.
This is my first ever football jumper. My three votes for Charlie. Oh, top of the world, mate.
What a time to be alive.
I look a bit like Nickel Bellic from GTA 4, I feel, with this.
That could get dangerous. Quickie Boy, how you going, mate?
What a start to the show. I'm good, mate. How are you?
Great. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I'm glad you haven't lost your mind to it.
Were you a bit nervous about starting the podcast today? You've gone already, a bit flustered, mate. You're looking like your t-shirt at the moment.
We're at the beach yesterday. Got a bit sunburned.
I can tell. You're looking very red raw lobster.
I know. Good t-shirt as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. 49ers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, big fan.
I can tell.
Yeah, you're jumping on board too.
Yeah, look, I'm going to get an NFL team. I said I haven't dedicated myself to one, and we had the conversation, and we don't have a team in any sport that we both follow, so we thought, why not jump on board with one team together? And I think the 49ers might be the way to go. Although I do have a Raiders jacket at home, so does that mean I'm roped in with the Raiders?
The Raiders are Collingwood colours.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could be, if you want to support Collingwood, you can.
So if I
pretty much.
Give me the ultimatum.
Pretty sure every Collingwood supporter goes for the Raiders.
Can I go with the 49ers but still casually wear my Raiders jacket? It's a retro vintage one.
Probably. Isn't all NFL, NBA, baseball gear just fashion statements anyway?
Yeah, essentially.
You know? Like, I'm pretty sure I have a San Francisco Giants hat, but I definitely don't go for the Giants and don't follow the baseball, you know?
Well, there you go.
So you can absolutely wear a Raiders jacket.
Sounds good to me. All right, let's do it. I'm a 49ers fan. Let's get on with the show.
Alright. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a quieter period in the AFL landscape anyway. Obviously with the off season, it's been a bit dry with news, but there was a massive story over the weekend and over the last few days, and it's Jordan De Goey over in America being a very naughty boy.
Absolutely. Well, if we go back even a few days before that, the story around Jordan De Goey was the complete opposite. It was how he's training the house down, primed to have a dusty-like season. Just coming off probably his best year he's ever had in terms of consistency, playing up in the midfield and having a great year, and then really let himself down with this news that's come out and, well, let the greater AFL community down, Collingwood down, and, everybody essentially that has anything or any connection with Jordan De Goey or Jordan DePuy, as he's once been said on this podcast by myself. But, obviously really, really disappointing news. And look, whichever view you want to take on the situation, there's nothing good that comes from this.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible, and it's almost career ending. And I think a lot of people do want that, and I think I would not be against it if it was, to be honest, because it's not the first time he's done it. There's been multiple occasions where he's gotten in trouble on a night out, and for very similar incidents as well. So, and the fact that he's in America, in New York, on a high-performance training camp that Collingwood have probably chipped in for, or the club have fully endorsed and fully backed him in, even to leave the country is huge in this current period. So, it's a terrible look, and I think his career is at a serious crossroads at the moment.
Well, you touched on it, and you said you wouldn't be against it. So I'll ask you the question. I want a blunt yes or no. Should Jordan De Goey play another game of AFL football?
No.
Okay, good.
But he will.
He will. Yeah. What he should do and what he will do are different things. I think he will play. I don't think he should. Too many misdemeanors. Is it a coincidence now that there's been 2 sexual harassment charges against him? Both dropped. But that just could be due to a lack of evidence. I don't want to get into that, but it can't be a coincidence that it's happened twice. And like you said, it was in New York, which means that there's no bias or prejudgment behind him or anyone without trying to provoke him, because no one knows who he is in America.
Yeah, exactly right.
So it's come out of nowhere, and there's also a physical assault charge or whatever you want to call it now. So it's obviously a shocking look for the game, and considering, like I said, where he came from 2 weeks ago, we're all thinking about how good he was going to be next year. To then do this, but not for the first time. I just think he's not worth the risk for Collingwood. And I don't know. I've spoken to a couple of Collingwood supporters that said they would gladly see the club get rid of him. I know there's going to be a lot that don't agree, but I've spoken to some that actually wouldn't mind seeing him go.
Absolutely. Yeah, a couple of Collingwood mates that I've got, they don't want him there either. So I think a lot of them are just fed up. And to be honest, they're in that period of their stage of development at Collingwood where they can, they're rebuilding, they're starting again. So if they can potentially cash in on De Goey, on his value somehow.
Who takes him?
that's the thing. Someone probably will.
He's got 1 year left on his contract this year, and then he's up in the air. That's the reason we're back over there. He even said he's training to try and get more money when his contract gets renewed.
He's ruined that, hasn't he?
Well, you'd think so, and you know what? You'd hope so as well. For the look of the game, it's a bad look. You can't have blokes running around because it's it just spreads the wrong message. Oh, De Goey gets away with it. Why can't I?
Exactly. So,
and I think the biggest crime out of all of this was that he thought it was acceptable to go to a nightclub in a bathrobe. Fairly sure it's for Halloween, but what are you dressed as, mate?
Yeah.
A douchebag?
Yeah. Didn't he get locked up in that bathrobe?
Absolutely, and you can bet your bottom dollar he went to court in that bathrobe as well.
Did he?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Oh jeez, yeah. Anyway, it's a shit story, and yeah, I hope the AFL and Collingwood take appropriate action. Collingwood already have standing him down, but I'd like to see what happens once the hearing's done and once he gets back to Australia.
That's it. Well, they've stood him down, but I'd like to see some monetary effect happen as well because he's still getting paid per his contract.
Yeah.
So, I don't know the logistics of it all, but I think if you're going to stand someone down for an incident like this, you cut their pay.
Yeah.
That's my.
If you and me got stood down from our roles, I don't think we'd be getting paid.
No, absolutely not.
If we did something, similar.
Yeah, exactly right. No, you probably just lose your job. There wouldn't even be that you're stood down. If that's you, you're gone. So obviously the AFL has always been judged differently, and in terms of jobs and job security and whatnot. But I think it's not a good look, and something's going to be done.
Yeah, for sure. All right, enough of him. We've got a few exciting plans over the next few weeks, and especially the month of November.
Absolutely, we do. Obviously, it's November, or as most people know it as Movember. We've got some things whipped up, which I'll let you explain, Marcus, because you were the innovator of this brilliant idea, so I'll let you touch on it.
Yep, so, everyone's, shaving their heads.
Mine's always just like this, mate. This wasn't for November.
Everyone's growing mustaches and, doing those walks and things like that. But what we're going to do a bit different here is do an episode where we interview each other and we both share something vulnerable about ourselves and open up and tell something that not many people would know. Just to add something different to the show and for everyone to get to know us on a deeper level instead of just our footy knowledge. So it'd be a bit different, maybe a little uncomfortable, but I think it's for a good cause and it's to raise awareness for a very important cause in society today. And I think a lot of people would appreciate it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think for us to be slightly uncomfortable interviewing each other and saying things that we definitely haven't told each other yet, if that can make a couple other people feel comfortable telling someone about something they might be a bit have pent up or worried about, then it's absolutely worth it. So I think I'm more than happy to jump on board with this and get a bit vulnerable for the first time, I think, in a long time. I'm not the type to normally do so it's going to be interesting. I think there's a few people that don't know a lot about me, so it's going to be, it'd be good. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
That's it.
So, we'll have to do that over the next few weeks. November's just started, so we've got a few weeks up our sleeve, but we'll definitely get something out, over the next month, which would be good.
Yep, exactly right.
And then it's pretty much, it's almost holiday mode. It's almost Christmas time, so we'll probably take a little bit of a break over the summer and then get back into it. Probably.
We'll probably touch on the draft a little bit.
Yeah, we'll touch on the draft. Well, that's also in November. So I think once November's done, then we'll probably be slowing down a bit. But no, it's exciting month. But we did have a special guest come on the show that we had a chat to a bit earlier. It was Bella Lewis, the 2021 West Coast AFL Women's Club Champion in her debut season as well. She's a tough, quick and strong midfielder, so she was great to have a chat with and have a listen to the chat when we caught up with Bella earlier.
All right, Pressure Point fans, we've got another very special guest on this week, another AFLW player. We've got pick 3 in the 2020 draft and the 2021 West Coast Club Champion. Can you believe that, in her first season as well, which is an incredible achievement. We've got Bella Lewis. Bella, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Not a problem. Absolute pleasure. We touched on it a little bit before the show, but from someone that's coming from WA, tell us, what has life been like for you throughout the pandemic? Obviously, would have impacted footy a fair bit.
I know not as bad as you guys over in Victoria and New South Wales. We've had it pretty good, thankfully, but there was last year a little bit interrupted. I guess going specifically for me, going to my draft year was a little bit interrupted with that, not being able to train. But yeah, pretty thankful that we've had it the way we've had it.
Yeah, I mean, WA, we're pretty envious of them, aren't we? Like,
absolutely.
Not only have a good weather, but you've had pretty much no lockdowns at all, which really hurts us, to be honest.
Yeah, it's nuts.
All right. Well, we'll get into it. We'll talk about footy. That's why you're here. And as we do with all our guests, we like to wind it right back to the start. So tell us about your early days, growing up, and where your love for footy came from.
Yeah, I guess I grew up in Sydney, so it was very multifaceted in terms of sports there. So I didn't really get into footy until I moved to WA, which was I was about 11 or 12. And I think like you don't really walk down the street and everything's footy in Sydney, but it's a real culture shock when you come to WA where everything's just free or West Coast. So started playing when I was 11 or 12 just with the boys and fell in love with it. I think just like the physicality of it. I really enjoyed playing with the boys, played with them for maybe 3 or 4 years until I had to kind of start playing with the girls. So then went to Claremont Women's Footy Club and then kind of just progressed from there, I guess, doing the state programs and then the National Academy and then ended up at Eagles.
It's an incredible journey to start from, especially starting at a bit of a later age and making all the way to the AFLW and obviously having such an impact early on. But talk to us, obviously coming from Sydney, like you said, there's you didn't have an interest for one sport in particular. There's a fair few. And there's a common misconception of apparently, especially in between the major news companies that are saying that you actually did trampolining before footy, but little do they know it was the other way around. You did footy first and trampolining found its way in between. I know you had to make a choice at one point between trampolining and footy. Was it ever a hard choice or was footy always going to be the way to go?
Yeah, I think you guys are probably the first ones to know that that footy was before trampolining was. It's quite funny. I think before I was drafted, I didn't really realize how much the news loved to grab a concept and develop it, which is quite funny to me. But yeah, I guess it was probably I got to maybe 15, 16 and both kind of sports were training 3-4 times a week. So I couldn't really fit it in, to be honest, with school and my social life. And I thought that I enjoyed footy way more than I did trampoline, just purely of the team aspect of it. And the camaraderie. So yeah, it was a very easy choice for me, to be honest.
Yeah, we love that. And like you said, the media do tend to just grab onto things and sort of run with them, whether they might be true or not. We try to stick to the truth here on the podcast, but obviously that would probably affect the mental psyche a little bit. And I know you're big on your mindfulness and you've touched on before that it came actually before your football. Do you think mindfulness has helped your footy or football has more helped your mindfulness, if that makes sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think it goes both ways, to be honest. I'd love to read heaps of motivation books and mindsets from great athletes from different sports as well, because it's good to get a good perspective. And I think that it just goes both ways. Like being able to have the self-belief, which is not as common in women's footy as it is in men's in terms of the humbleness. Like I think some girls are probably a bit too humble. So having that level of self-belief and bring yourself back to the present moment when you've got big games or you're in a big position, I think has really helped me play.
Yeah, love that. I mean, mindfulness is such a big role in sport now and society as well. I think everyone's getting around it, and it's great to see, and it shows when you've got that covered. Your footy usually takes care of itself as well. And going on to how your footy's going, winning the best and fairest at West Coast in your first season is an incredible achievement. Run us through that experience. Did you expect to have the season that you had, and how was that feeling on BNF night, getting up there on stage and receiving the award?
Yeah, I could definitely say I was shocked, to say the least. If you'd heard my speech, you probably would have not been surprised that I was shocked. But I wasn't, I guess, surprised with the way I played, but I was surprised with the award, if that made sense. So, for me, it was what I like to call the first year was like my honeymoon phase, where just nothing went wrong. and I was enjoying everything, the experience of just being at such the elite level and playing against, some of the best players that you want to be playing against. And I, definitely had a bit of luck on my side in terms of the award, but was, not expecting it whatsoever. But it just made me love it even more, to be honest, that the way you play. I think when you get up to the AFL level, everyone's kind of at that standard. So you just, in a way, you play better as a team and you play better as an individual. So that was kind of the bonus for me.
Absolutely. I can't imagine starting your career off on a better note than winning the BNF in your first year, but it wasn't all sunshine and daisies early on. Obviously, heading into your debut season is what I'm trying to spit out. Into your debut season, you had a bit of an injury niggle and all that, and the media sort of jumped on that a little bit. Did that fuel you coming into your first season?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was lots of, whispers that, if I was going to perform at all in my first year, let alone get a game. And I think for me, that was definitely like, well, that's great for me, because I'd rather you not know if how well I'm training or that kind of thing. That kind of fuels me more. So I, going into the draft year, I was a little bit hesitant on whether or not I was going to get drafted at all. But I knew kind of when I got drafted, I had the support around me and the teammates around me that, just fueled us more to perform better. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. We love that. And you're obviously still very young in terms of being an AFL player and just life in general, still a baby in some aspects, but you are considered a role model to many younger girls growing up, and I'm sure people within the club as well. How does it feel after one season just already being a role model and having, young girls looking up to you at such an early age and stage of your career?
Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest change for me going into first season even, was that kind of aspect of having girls look up to you, which is nothing that you would expect at all I guess you expect it, but definitely not in your first year and going into your second year. But it kind of makes you want to, lift your attitude and be a role model for those girls. So, you are watching what you do and what you say, and because to be honest, it's the reason why you play. We're not at the point yet where we're kind of full-time athletes, so we're doing it for those girls. So, it was 100% a sobering experience for me to be able to kind of experience that in my first year.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned, it's not full-time yet, which eventually it will, and we can't wait for that to happen. And I'm sure that's not too far away. But how else do you spend your time being a part-time athlete? What else do you do on the side to keep you going?
Yeah, so I've got a part-time job at Rebel, which is quite fun. I enjoy it. It's a good crew. And I'm starting to do criminology at uni in February as well. So I like to have a good balance. I think it's important to kind of have a separate life from your footy, just so you don't get too involved in it and overthink it. So I like doing that on the side.
Yeah, beautiful. Good balance, which we love. We love that. All right, looking forward to the AFLW season. It's not too far away. I think I reckon 2 months away. It's not too far. So how is pre-season going at the moment? You or the girls pumped for the season to come around again?
Yeah, girls are absolutely loving it. We've got our new coach who we think is perfect for us, and we've had chats with how we can balance him with us and what we need from him and that kind of thing. So the girls are absolutely loving it. I think hopefully we'll take it to the next level this year, which is what we've kind of been on the edge of doing. So, but we're just having a blast, to be honest. Whether or not we go into a hub, we'll see. But we're just going with the flow.
Yeah, love it. Do you guys have a strong rivalry with the Dockers like the men do? Is it pretty fierce over there as well? Is it translated over to the women?
Yeah, it can be. It can be quite fierce at times, especially when we play them. But yeah, we are friends with them. But yes, it does get quite fierce at times.
That's great. We love it. All right. Well, we'll get into our segment that we do. It's called the pressure cooker, where we'll just ask a few quick fire questions and then we'll wrap up from there. So we'll get into it. I'll kick us off. Who's your greatest mentor?
Oh, Emma Swanson.
What's the favorite game you've played in so far?
Geelong round 7, I think it was.
Yeah. Why is that?
It was probably the first time we'd actually fully beaten a team and smashed them by a considerable margin. So it was quite fun.
And you must have had a blinder, didn't you?
Nah, not really.
Who's your favourite current day player?
Probably Marcus Bontempelli.
Yeah, good choice. Can't go past the Bont. And then last one to wrap it all up. Which team did you support as a kid?
Sydney Swans.
Yes, being a Sydney local, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love it. All right, well, that's pretty much it for the episode. As I said, we very grateful for you coming on and giving up your time. No pre-season's right into the swing of things, so we do appreciate it, and all the best for the upcoming AFLW season at the Eagles.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.